So these are risks that you can be exposed to when you're doing business across the nations. And that is why this topic number 5 is normally a risk management. It's about risk management. Topic number 6, actually. Topic number 6. So let's look at the types of foreign exchange risk that we normally have. The first one is called transactional risk. Transactional risk. Transactional risk. Say that change of exchange rate, it refers to the change of exchange rates. It refers to the change of exchange rate between date of transaction and date of settlement. It refers to the change refers to the change of exchange rate between the date of transaction and date of settlement. Change of exchange rate, it refers to the changes on exchange rate between the date of transaction and the date of settlement. So if we have done transaction today, I might decide to pay or wait and pay later. So you might find that the rate that we are using today is different from the rate that I'll use when I'm now making payment. That kind of risk is now what we call the transactional risk or transaction risk. It comes as a result of the change of the rate of exchange or exchange rate between the date of transaction and the date of settlement. So that means that it is better for you to exchange immediately when you have agreed or you made the transaction. You need to be able to change it and transfer or settle your payment, because if you wait, the rates will change, and that is a risk. Number 2 is translation risk. Translation risk. I've not even moved an inch. We are just here. This is the first one. We are just starting. So the next one is called translation risk. To translate is to change from one currency to another, right? So you say it refers to the differences It comes as a result of the differences of financial statement, the differences of financial statements, differences of financial statement of a foreign country reported in a presentation currency. So this happens on the same day. It is not about like the other one, which was coming as a result of the date, difference rates on transaction date. This one, we have country X here, or say, let's say that USA, you've done the audit or you've done financial statement. So we have US and then Kenya. So you are being told that, let's say that income in US, it is maybe, or let me talk about, okay, US. So that is US. Maybe it is something like $300. And then we have now the Kenyan shillings was maybe 300,000 Kenyan shillings or 30,000 Kenyan shillings. 30,000 Kenyan shillings. So what you're going to do, if this was maybe a subsidiary and this is the parent, you need now to report it as a group. You need to have a group. So of course in group, you're going to report it on the presentation currency. You're going to use the presentation currency, the currency that you're using to present, that is Kenya shillings. So you'll have to add them. So that is 300 or 30 plus. Now this one translated into Kenya shillings. This one translated into Kenya shillings so that you can report. So this one is the reporting currency, but this is the presentation currency. You've reported in this currency, it needs to be presented. So you're translating it, changing from this currency to this so that you can have one account as a group with the same currency. What happens now is that you might lose because of the exchange rates. Maybe the equivalent that you are supposed to get here might not be what you are reporting. And the reverse is true. When you are now translating Kenya shillings into this other currency, you might gain or lose. That is the kind of risk that we are calling translation. It comes as a result of translating the financial statement from the presentation, from the reporting currency to the presentation currency. So we are saying that it comes as a result of the differences of financial statement of a foreign country, financial statement of a foreign country, financial statement of a foreign country when reported in presentation currency. You now report it in a presentation currency. Now report it in a presentation currency. Okay? Okay. The next one is called economic risk. Economic risk. You say that it refers to the long-term movement in the exchange rate. It comes as a result of long-term movement in the interest rates. It comes as a result of long-term movement in the interest rates. Of the exchange rate, sorry, long-term movement in the exchange rate that adversely affect the net worth of a foreign entity. Long-term movement in the exchange rate, long-term movement in the exchange rate, long-term movement in the exchange rate that affects, that adversely affects the net worth of a foreign entity. It adversely affects the net worth of a foreign entity. So we have seen the kind of risk that the company can be exposed to, or a business person. Majorly there are three. The first one we talked about the transactional risk that comes as a result of the differences on exchange rate between the date of transaction, that is the date when you have done the business, and the date of settlement, the date that you're making payment. The differences can make you lose or gain, and that is a risk. The second one we talked about translation risk. When you want to report in home currency and you're translating the financial statement or whatever financial reports or records from the foreign currency to your own local currency. In between, there are possible losses. That is the next one. The third one we talked about economic risk, which comes as a result of long-term changes or movement in the exchange rate. Now, what is happening in Kenya? If you are from US and you invested in Kenya, after some times, we are talking about long term. So you will come and invest for maybe a period of 5 years or 3 years. Then you want to get your money back to US. Because of the changes, long-term changes or movement in the exchange rate, from 98 or 72, some of us we knew about exchange rate when it was 72. How many of you remember that? Wangapi walitambua hii story inaitwa exchange rate wakati the value of dollar ilikuwa 72 shillings? How many were there? or are with me. Mimi nikianza kujua story ya exchange, dola ilikuwa $1 was 72 bob. Sadia?
Mimi nilipoanza kujua ilikuwa 90 around there.
90.
Yeah.
Rachel, na wewe? The first time you heard about the exchange rate, ilikuwa 120. Rachel, you are not serious. Rachel, in 2018, I was working in the bank, 2018. And at that time, the exchange rate was 102. So wewe hata 2018 bado ulikuwa Gen Z, haukuwa unaelewa history. 2018, the rates were 102 in 2018. Yeah. In fact, when I started working in the bank in 2014, the rates were 98, 96 hapo. Sio kitambo. Hata hiyo 72 nimesema sio kitambo. When I was in university yesterday, sio kitambo. Some 20 years ago, yesterday. So anyway, so that is what we are saying is that you can invest, and then because of the long-term changes in the exchange rate, you might end up translating, then you realize that you're making losses because the Kenya shillings has been depreciating with time. Now, the question is, if we are now that we are aware about the risk, how do we mitigate? How do we reduce such kind of exposure? Gen Z, wamepata rate ikiwa 130. Hata hao wenye wanapiga kelele sahihi, waliona tu ikiwa last year. In fact, time ya Uhuru, ikiwa 170, 150, right? So what are some of the methods, which are some of the methods that we can use to be able to protect ourselves against such kind of exposures? So we call them methods of hedging against foreign exchange risk. Methods of hedging against foreign exchange risk. So which are some of these methods? Especially the ones that relate to transaction, because that is where the date of settlement and the date of transactions are different. So that is transaction risk. We can be able to reduce them or mitigate. So that is transactional risk. We are basically trying to hedge against transactional because we are in business. So this is the one that we are worried about. So we agree today, when I'm coming to make the payment, the rate has changed. Transactional risk. We have two methods. The first method is called non-contractual. Technique, or what is called internal hedging. Internal hedging techniques. The second one is called contractual techniques or external hedging techniques. Contractual. Which is called external hedging techniques. External hedging techniques. External hedging techniques. So we have two methods. Now, non-contractual It means that there is no contract. You don't have to have an agreement or an arrangement with somebody. So there is no contract. But contractual, it is a technique where people agree. Like the one that we talk about, forward market, that is contractual. Forward market, mnaelewana sahi. So there is a contract that we are going to do it this way. And you're doing that contract so that you can be safe. So that is a contractual. But where you don't have to agree with the customer, it's called non-contractual method. Now, let's look at the types or ways or some of these non-contractual methods. So start with non-contractual methods so that we can see them. Hapa hakuna kuandikiana. So number one, under non-contractual methods, number one, invoicing in domestic currency. Unaweza amua kila mtu akitaka kununua, anybody who wants to buy from you in Kenya shillings. So it doesn't matter. That is what they do in ACCA. When you are paying for ACCA, you pay in the domestic currency in US dollars. So some people are very serious. They will always tell you, we only do business in dollars. We only make payment in dollars. So they invoice you in their local currency so that you don't have a problem of exchanging. Even if it is in future, there is no exchange. Invoicing in domestic currency, that is the first one. Invoicing in domestic currency, the first one. The next one,
But we haven't defined a non-contractual. I haven't written anything. Pardon, please.
what have you written?
Nothing. Non-contractual.
So you have not said invoicing in domestic currency. And why have you not said that? So write that invoicing in domestic currency. If you want me to explain it, you can say that, i.e., selling goods in Kenya shillings to all customers, whether local or international. E.g., selling goods to all customers in Kenya shillings. Selling goods to all customers in domestic currency. The next one, leading and lagging.
And leading and lagging is under non-contractual also.
Those are still non-contractual. Nikianza contractual, I'll let you know. That is number two. Leading, so this one, invoicing in local currency. This one is leading
Mwalimu, basi ulikuwa wanipoteza. Mimi alikuwa hata sijui kama hiyo investing. I thought it is an explanation of non-contractual.
But nimesema number one, nilikuwa nimeweka hapa one. Nikasema one. Nikasema examples that are under this, underline. Then I said number one, so that you can say invoicing in local currency, that is number one. Number two, letting
I was interrupted kidogo, that's why nikapotea.
And hapa nilisema i.e. selling and invoicing in home currency, all goods and services, whether they are local or international. Leading and lagging, you say that i.e. paying overseas suppliers earlier, i.e. paying overseas suppliers earlier. Leading and lagging, paying overseas suppliers earlier, in bracket, leading when the currency is expected to fall. Paying overseas suppliers earlier, paying overseas suppliers earlier when the currency is expected to fall. That is leading. You know, ukijua currency itaanguka, what happens? Suddenly. What we are saying here is that you need to pay suppliers earlier because you will be removing your money to send. So if you suspect that the value of your currency will go down, that means that right now, for example, let's say that you're going to pay in US dollars, how much? 60,000. And you are suspecting that in the next 3 months, the value of currency, which is right now 102, will be 120 in 6 months' time, Kenya shillings. You decide to pay now, because if you pay now, it will be 60 times 120. That is the amount that you pay. But if you wait and pay after 3 months, if you are late, you will pay 60 times to 120, which will be more. Which will be more. So, when you know that the currency will fall in the future, from 100 to 120, pay early, pay now, so that you pay less. Pay less. But if you know that it will be strong in the future, ngojea kidogo. Saa hii the rate ni 120, lakini umeambiwa itakuwa 98. Ngojea hiyo time, chukua 98 change, utalipa less Kenya shillings. All right? So that is what we are talking about. Sawa? Yeah, so the next one, okay, I said that paying overseas suppliers earlier, that is leading when currency is expected to fall, and paying them later, that is lagging, you put in bracket lagging. if domestic currency is expected to rise, paying them later if domestic currency is expected to rise. Paying them later if the domestic currency is expected to rise. That is number 2. Number 3 here is called matching. Those are non-contractual methods or techniques, non-contractual methods or technique. It's called matching. Rachel, can you tell me what thing it is? Matching. Okay. So matching, you say that it entails using foreign currency loans to finance foreign currency entities, using foreign currency loans to finance foreign currency entities, using foreign currency loans to finance foreign currency entities. You go and borrow in that country and use it to pay businesses that you are dealing with in that country. So let's say that you are working in UK or you have a business in UK. You don't take Kenyan shillings and translate. Enda huko UK, borrow the money, use it there to finance the business. After financing the business, the revenue that you get used to pay the loan. So you borrow in dollars or in pounds, use it to run the business in pounds. The money that you're going to get, which is revenue, will be in pounds. Use them to pay loans so that you don't have to exchange anything. We are saying it entails using foreign currency loans to finance and overseas entities and using overseas entities earnings to pay overseas loans. Using overseas it entails using foreign currency loans to finance overseas entities and using overseas earnings to pay overseas loans. Si hapo iko sawa? Sadia, unanisikia? What I'm saying is that you are a Kenyan and you have a business idea. So you have gone to US and realized that the business is doing well there. That idea is doing well. Maybe unataka kufungua M-Pesa shop there. So you don't have to take Kenya shillings uende nayo US. No. Panda ndege, enda US. Ukifika, go to the bank there, ask for money, borrow. Once you borrow the money, establish biashara hapo. Hakuna exchange, do the business. Uko na deni, but unafanya biashara. Ukipata tu revenue, unalipa hiyo deni. So you'll borrow in dollars, get revenue in dollars, use that revenue to pay loans in dollars. So that at the end of the day, you don't have all the time moving to Kenya, taking Kenya shillings there, you exchange, do business, exchange, bring back. We don't want to close. That is what we are avoiding. It was transactional risk that we're reducing, where the exchange rate keeps on changing. That is what we don't want to hear. So if you are in Uganda, go and borrow money in Uganda, use it to do business in Uganda. The revenue that you get in Uganda shillings, use it to pay loans in Uganda. There is nothing to do with Kenyan shillings. That is what I'm saying. So you match the revenues to pay the loans in that country. That is called matching. It entails using foreign currency loans to finance overseas entities. Your businesses in overseas, you finance them, and using overseas earnings to pay overseas loans. The next one is called netting. Netting, after matching, we have netting. An examiner likes setting these things, so make sure that at least umeelewa, right? Netting. Netting, we are saying it entails offsetting foreign debtors. It entails offsetting foreign debtors and foreign creditors. It entails offsetting foreign debtors and foreign creditors. So which one have you not taken in well? Should I go up, Agnes? Let me unmute you. Just make sure that you don't make noise so that I can understand, because I think I'm repeating these things several times. Ujaelewa wapi? Netting. Number 4 is netting. Na ndio hiyo na explain. Netting. Na sija explain bado, ndio nasoma explanation. Netting. Net. From the word net off. Net. But now netting. Right? So we are saying that it entails offsetting foreign debtors and foreign creditors. What we are saying now, nataka uelewe ndio ukiandika unaandika kitu umeelewa. Sasa topista. So elewa kwanza. Uko na deni US, deni, which is now debts. But here, you also have people who are going to pay you from US. Uko na debt US, let's say uko na debt how much? 10M. But you also expect to have a receipt, money that you receive is called a receipt. So this one is payment, like that, you need to pay. But this one is a receipt. You need to receive 10M from the same people, from US. Sasa unasema, ile pesa yangu niko nayo, use it to pay all the debts that I have. So you are paying debts using the receipts, or you're making payments using the receipts in that particular country. Those ones are what we call net off. It is different from ile matching. Matching, you go and borrow to finance the business, then use the revenue that you generate to pay. Net off, ulikuwa na deni huko, so maybe the suppliers, they supplied you with some things. Now, you are going to use, when they pay you, customers pay you, use them to pay suppliers. So you're using debts to pay creditors in that same country, using the same currency. You're not translating anything. You're not transacting or changing anything. So using offsetting foreign debts or debtors, offsetting foreign debtors and foreign creditors, or purchasing in foreign currency, purchasing in foreign country where sales have been made. Purchasing in foreign countries where sales have been made. Purchasing in foreign countries where sales have been made. Or purchasing in foreign countries where sales have been made. So when you make sales in US, go and buy things from US. Use that currency to pay them, the money to pay them. Then leta mzigo Kenya. So it entails offsetting foreign debtors and foreign creditors, or purchasing in foreign countries where sales have been made, so that foreign currency receivable offset foreign currency payable. Or purchasing in foreign currency, a foreign country where sales have been made, so that foreign currency receivable so that foreign currency receivable offsets foreign currency payable, so that foreign currency receivable offsets foreign currency payable, so that foreign currency receivable offsets foreign currency payable. The next one is called management barrier. Management barrier. This refers to restricting remittance from subsidiaries. Restricting remittance from subsidiaries. Hiyo ni ingine unaweza tumia. So what you are going to do here, when you are running a business that has got parent as subsidiary, sometimes you might find that you have to remit some money to the parent. So hapo una restrict, unaambia subsidiary survive on your own. There is nothing you are transferring to the parent because they're in different countries. So you have management or what we call management barriers. You restrict transfer of any funds from the subsidiary, the parent, if they are in different countries. The point is restricting remittance from subsidiaries. It is called management barriers. Management barriers refers to restriction of remittance from subsidiaries. Now let's look at contractual techniques now. We have talked about non-contractual techniques. Contractual techniques. So here we have number one, forward contracts. This is the one that we did yesterday. Remember it? So you agree that in 3 months' time or 4 months' time, we'll do some exchange. It is called forward contracts. The next one is called money market. The third one is called future contracts. The fourth one is called currency option, or basically, we can just talk about options. So these are the major ones. So they are hedging techniques. Now, there is something called arbitrage and then hedge. So this is called hedging and arbitrage. Arbitrage means taking advantage of the situation to make profit or to gain. That is arbitrage. So if you realize that the economy is not doing well, you take advantage at that time and make some gain. The government uses this, right? When there is any contract that's going on, they want to build SGR, they take advantage and make profit on behalf of wananchi. When they are procuring loans from outside, or they want to give, get funds from people, grants from other countries, they take advantage of this. Hapo ndio wanapata pesa. But hedging ni kuhepa. You are not taking advantage. You are trying to reduce the risk ama kutoroka. Hedging. So those are two things that should not confuse you in exams. Hedge is about taking advantage, it's about escaping or reducing risk or avoiding risk. You are not expecting to gain. But in arbitrage, you are taking advantage of the situation to benefit you. Are we together? Now let's look at the definition of forward contract. Let's define a forward contract. You say that these are legally binding agreements. Forward contracts are legally binding agreements. They are legally binding agreements. They are legally binding agreements. They are legally binding agreements to buy or sell. Legally binding agreements to buy or sell. Legally binding agreements to buy or sell. Legally binding agreement to buy or sell a specified quantity of a specified currency. A specified quantity of a specified currency. Now, I know I'll repeat there, but I wanted to bring some sense to you. Now, in our previous class, we said that in direct contract, you are given the amount of home currency that is required to buy 1 unit of foreign currency. So therefore, you are buying this, you are buying the foreign currency. So the foreign currency becomes the commodity. This one is the commodity that you can buy or sell. So you need 101 Kenyan shillings to buy $1 US. So in this case, this is now what we call forward contract. We agree in advance and it becomes binding. It becomes binding that you see, I will be able to exchange or buy from you in the next 3 months $1 US at a rate of 101. But under forward now, we have to specify how much dollars will you buy from me? How much dollars will you buy from me? So you have to agree. And the dollars becomes the commodity when Kenya shillings becomes the money. So you use money to buy a commodity. Dollars becomes a commodity. But you have to tell me in advance, how much will I buy? How much? Is it $60,000? Is it equivalent of maybe Kenya shillings, maybe 100,000? We need to know. And that's why under contract, under forward contract, you'll be told that Mrs. Waiguru wanted to import a motor vehicle worth 3 million. So that 3 million is the specified amount in 4 months' time or 3 months' time. You are specifying the period and the amount now that you'll be able to buy in future. So that is the nature of forward contract. And so when we say that we are going to buy, just know that it's foreign currency that is being bought. The definition says that it is a legally binding agreement. It is a legally binding agreement to buy or sell. To buy or sell a specified quantity of a specified currency. So we need to know, is it US dollars or is it pounds? So you specify the amount and the currency. To buy or sell a specified quantity of a specific currency at a future date, which is 3 months, 4 months, we have to specify the date. At a future date, at a predetermined rate, at a future date, that is after writing specified currency, you say at a future date, then you proceed and say at a predetermined exchange rate. At a predetermined exchange rate. So predetermined, we determine it in advance. We agreed on it in advance now, but we shall use it in the future. That is why we call it forward rate. But we are deciding on the rate now. So it is a legally binding agreement to buy or sell a specific quantity of a specified currency at a future date at a predetermined exchange rate. The next one is called money market. Proceed to that, money market. Money market. Money market. You say that this is a market for borrowing and lending on short-term basis. It is a market for borrowing and lending on a short-term basis. It is a market for lending and borrowing on a short-term basis. Market for borrowing and lending on a short-term basis. Full stop. Say that money market involves borrowing or investing in a foreign currency. Money market involves borrowing. Money market involves borrowing. Money market involves borrowing or investing in a foreign currency. Money market involves borrowing. Money market involves borrowing. Money market involves borrowing or investing in a foreign currency. It involves borrowing or investing in a foreign currency. Money market involves borrowing or investing in a foreign currency. Yes, Rachel, I say that money market is a market for borrowing and lending on short-term basis, full stop. Short-term basis, full stop. Then you proceed and say, money market involves borrowing or investing in a foreign currency so as to match existing borrowing. 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 So as to match existing borrowing or investing in a foreign currency. Or investing in a foreign currency. So hiyo kisungu ni mingi sana, and I want to explain to you so that you understand what we're trying to say. We say that it involves investing, it involves borrowing or investing in a foreign currency so as to match existing borrowing or investing in a foreign currency. Now, listen to how money market works. Listen to how money market works. So, let's say Don't draw. I'll tell you what to draw. This one is just mine. So let's say that you are in US and you're doing business with somebody from UK. So if you are expecting to receive money, you are in US, or let me say Kenya. You are in Kenya and you expect to receive some money in 3 months time receipt. Let me say receipt in 3 months time. 3 months from now, that will be which month? October. You expect to receive some amount, like let's say that pounds, 3,000 pounds. So what we are saying, because you fear that the rates can change by that time. Si utapata hii pesa lako na translate to Kenya shillings. Violet. Kama inafaa upate 3,000 pounds after 3 months from now. Wakati huo ukipata hiyo pesa, itabidi utranslate to Kenya shillings, ndio? Or change to Kenya shillings. Si ni ukweli? Masi, si ni ukweli? When you finally receive it, it is in pounds. You have to change it to Kenya shillings. And your worry now is the transactional risk, that the rate, right now you've done the business. In 3 months time, rate itakuwa imechange. So you don't know kama itaenda juu zaidi ama itaenda chini. And that is what we are trying to hedge. We are hedging that transactional risk, that the rate might change. Tumeelewana sahi, tumemaliza biashara. Chenye imebaki ni kulipa. But this guy is telling me he can only pay me in 3 months time. And I'm fearing that the rates might change. So what I'll do, the rates right now, as we are talking, I'm okay with it. It is certain. I'm sure of it. So it is not risk. But in 3 months time, it will be risk because I don't know what it will be. So I'm risking if you're going to pay me in 3 months time. But right now, I'm not risking because I'm only giving you the service that is equivalent to this amount with the current prevailing rate. So what happens is that because I'm expecting to get 3, this one is a receipt, I will leave Kenya, nipande Kenya Airways and go to UK. Nikifika huko, I'll tell them, I want to borrow now 3 million. No, 3,000 pounds. So you go and borrow amount that is equivalent to what you're going to receive. Unaenda kuborrow sahi with the current rates. So go and borrow because you are expecting a receipt. Go and borrow. Go and borrow now. How much? Amount that is equivalent to 3. Tunaelewana? So you'll go and borrow today, and then you will change it with the current rate because the current rate is certain. We are not risking spot rate. Change it, get it in pounds today, change it using the spot rate to make it Kenya shillings. That could be maybe one, I don't know what is the rate, but maybe 160 times 300, whatever amount, 3,000. Whatever amount that you get in Kenya shillings, come now and invest in Kenya. Ile pesa umetoa huko, translate into Kenya shillings, invest it in Kenya for 3 months. Come and invest it for 3 months. So what you can see, you borrowed here, and you told them that you will pay in 3 months time because you are sure that after 3 months time, this amount itakuwa imeiva. You simply take it and pay. They cancel each other. So unamwambia kama hii receipt ni 3 months, come and borrow for 3 months. That is the first thing. So whenever there is a receipt in foreign country, borrow in that country. Amount that is matching what you're going to receive. If there is a receipt in UK, panda ndege. Ifika UK, borrow amount that is equivalent to the receipt. That is 3,000 pounds. Panda nayo ndege, hiyo cash, saa hiyo, uje nayo Kenya. Exchange with the current rate which you are comfortable with because you are not risking, at least you know it, and you are okay with it. Exchange, after exchanging, you are going to get some good money. I don't know if this can be around 780 Kenya shillings. This amount in Kenya shillings, hiyo ndio umetoa huko saa hii. Come and invest it for 3 months. Invest. So if you borrow in a foreign land, invest at home, local. Kama uliborrow hapa na ukabeba hiyo pesa, kama invest locally, amount that is the period that is equivalent to the period that you are having there. You borrow for 3 months, invest for 3 months. 3 months ikielapse, utaangalia ile pesa uliinvest in Kenya shillings, how much is it worth now? What is your investment amount? Na ile ulikuwa umeborrow, use this one to clear it. Use this to clear it. Na story inaisha. So, you will not have to exchange in the future. It is 48, eh? Thank you. So, the thing that you need to remember, rules. For any foreign receipt, borrow foreign. Because you expect to receive money in foreign, borrow foreign. And if you borrow foreign, invest local. So it comes without saying. Now, the rules are 2. For foreign receipt, borrow foreign. And once you borrow foreign, come and invest local. You don't borrow and invest in the same country. That is money market. You don't borrow and invest in the same country. Borrow in that country, come and invest in Kenya. That is for foreign receipt. What about if it was payment that you're supposed to make payment in 3 months' time in UK or to UK? So for any foreign payments, invest in foreign. Go and invest in that country. So if I was to pay this in 3 months' time, I'll come and invest today. I need to invest today amount that will mature and will be equivalent to the amount that I'm supposed to pay, so that in 3 months' time, I simply take my investment and clear my debts. I just take my investment and clear the payments. So they cancel in 3 months and I don't need to exchange anything. But because I'm investing in UK now, it means that I have to borrow from Kenya. So whenever you invest in foreign land, borrow from Kenya, panda ndege na hiyo pesa, go and invest. You don't invest in the country where you borrow. I am borrowing from Kenya to invest in UK so that I can use that money in 3 months' time to clear my debts. If it is payment, that is what I do. I invest here and clear debt. And the fact that I'm investing here, it means that I borrowed from Kenya.
Does this happen in real life?
Yes, why not?
Maybe the president and the ministers do that, but not the hustlers like us.
No, you can do now that you are learned. That is why you are a finance person. After CPA, you are respected. And you can advise the president matters, economy and finance. So, is there anybody with a challenge in understanding money market? Usinyamaze na hujaelewa. You know, that is a problem. Alafu ikikuja kwa mtihani unasema hii kitu ilikuwaje? Umenyamaza?
A question. We
Yes.
explain money market involves borrowing or investing in a foreign currency so as to match existing borrowing or investing in a foreign currency. But what I understood is you borrow in another country, e.g. UK, and invest the money in the home currency, maybe Kenya. But here the divination, I can see investing or borrowing in foreign currency, then matching existing or in foreign currency, or I'm not
Existing
getting
what?
I'm reading.
Listen, you said is existing what?
Existing so as to match existing borrowing or investing in a foreign currency. That's what I wrote.
So if there was an existing borrowing, is that not a debt? It is existing. I'm not saying that you're going to borrow now. Right now, you're coming to borrow in Kenya. Lakini in foreign currency ulikuwa umechukua vitu in credit, and that is borrowing. Si ulikuwa umeborrow. Wakati umepewa supplies on credit, si umeborrow. Utalipa baadaye. So that is an existing. Now you invest to match the existing debts. Hata kama ni loan, hiyo ni debt. Hata kama ni supplies, hiyo ni debt. Sadia. Supplies and loans zote ni debt. So we are talking about the existing debt. So we are telling you, come and invest now so that you can match the existing debt. You already have a debt that is existing, but borrowing or investing you're doing now. So if it is existing debt, it could be as a result of loan that you took. It can be a result of supplies that you're given. They are already existing. Come and invest. Read your statement well again. And the intention is to invest so that they match.
Money market involves borrowing or investing in a foreign currency so as to match existing borrowing or investing in a foreign currency.
Yes. So if
now I'm getting.
Umeelewa sasa. So if you are having debts, go and invest to match that. If you are having investment, go and borrow now so that it can match. Investment are like receivable. Si kuna pesa ukipeleka kwa bank hapa UK, you are investing in terms of shares or money market in UK. After 3 months itakuwa imeiva. You expect to receive that money. Whether it was an investment or it was just receivable from the sales. The most important thing is that is a receivable. And so you're telling you go and borrow in that country right now. You kuna investment you're expecting to receive. Go and borrow now so that you have a loan. When this one matures, you pay that loan, they match. The key thing is that the amount must match at the end of the period.
Mwalimu.
Yes.
There is this language of lending and investing.
Come again?
There is this language they normally use of lending and investing in money market. Which one is lending and which one is investing? When you use borrowing and I don't know what. And payments.
Sija kupata for sure. I don't know it is network from my side or from your side, but mimi sikupati vizuri. You are saying that explain in terms of lending and investing language.
Yeah, there's that language they normally use.
Lending is the same as investing.
Oh, it's not.
Yeah, the one that is not the same is borrowing. So some questions utapata wameandika lending or investing. You know, lending ni kama nimekupea, but borrowing nimekuomba. So if I've given you some money now, I'm lending you, it means that I'm investing in you. You can bring it with interest or just bring it the way it is. Ukileta na interest, that is again on investment. By giving you loan or something, I'm investing in you and I'm lending you. See, loan investment, yes. Banks, that is the business that banks do. They give government money in terms of bond. That bond to the government is a loan, and is na mature sahi. The government is a loan, but to you as an individual it is investment. Unasema nimeinvest for treasury bill, nimeinvest on bonds. To the government, those bonds, kama Eurobond, these only loans. And to those countries or the people who are given, it is an investment. So investment and lending is the same. They were lending to the government In other words, you are investing in the government. Kwa hivyo, if you go now to Treasury and buy some shares or Treasury bills or dividend or bonds, those are investment you're making. But again, you are lending the government atumie hiyo pesa atarudisha baadaye. So lending and investing are the same. Can we proceed now? And I hope that you guys are revising. I hope that you guys are revising. I hope that you guys are revising.
We are revising investing.
We are revising not just this, but you are revising AFM.
But those videos for mergers, 2 hours, 2 hours, 2 hours. They are bulkness to us.
Which videos?
We need to have the videos for mergers and accusation.
But that's only 2 hours. It's only that you are attending live.
There are 5 lessons.
Hata hii 2 hours. Wale wanatumia videos peke yao. That is what they are feeling. They are watching 2 hours after you. Wanaenda ku website.
And I have topic 7 to write. The financial topic 7 is financial what? International financial management. That's one.
Topic 7 ni kadogo. Nilikwambia areas focus on topic 7. Financial institution.
Yeah, that's for yeah, that's much better. But that's mergers and accusation. Now, 2 hours lesson moja paka na hapo hapo.
Rules in money market. The first rule, foreign receipt. That's the first one. Foreign receipt. Borrow foreign. Number 2. So we agree that for foreign receipt, you go and borrow in that foreign. If you borrow in foreign, it means that you're investing locally. Still. Then foreign payment. Foreign payment. Borrow local. And that means that if you borrow local, you are investing in foreign. Still. Anytime you borrow local, you invest in foreign. Anytime you borrow foreign, invest locally. They are the opposite of each other. Hmm? So I want us now to look at the question that I shared. Can somebody read the question that I left with you guys?
We are not explaining future contracts.
Takuja hapo. Hapo nitakuja. Hiyo hata ni kadogo, ni theory tu. After this we shall go to options. Hapo ndio kuna shida tena. Future ni kitu kadogo sana, so don't worry. I've not done forward because we had done it before. Tushaifanya, so sijapitia tena. So I'm going through money market, nikimaliza, naenda kwa future, and then options. Na options ndio sasa examinable. Future hata si examinable. I don't know why. Na ina hesabu. Read what I gave you, that question.
Which question was that?
The last assignment that I gave.
The individual assignment, that one?
No, the one that I gave in class about forward market. Can somebody read it? Why are we wasting time? We are wasting time. Rachel, kindly read, please. Just read it. The one for Mrs. Waiguru. Read for them, please. We really waste a lot of time. I don't know why.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Thank you. Proceed.
Mrs. Anne Waiguru wants to import a motor vehicle, wants 300 million Japanese yen in 3 months' time. The exchange rate, spot rate, is 1.31 to 1.33 Kenya shillings, stroke Japanese yen.
Thank you.
3 months forward rate, it's 1.325 to 1.34 Kenya shillings, stroke Japanese yen. Interest rates for Kenya, borrowing at 14%, lending or investing at 7%. Then in Japan, borrowing is 4% and lending is 3%. Question, determine the amount payable using forward contracts.
That was question number 1. So what answer did you get? Sandy ulipata nini? Rachel ulipata nini? Mercy?
Maybe I'm lost. I didn't know we were doing that. So I was searching for that question.
Rachel, what did you guess? Agnes? Mercy?
I was stuck.
You're stuck. Mercy, where?
So I didn't finish.
Mercy, na wewe?
I didn't attempt.
Topista? Topista?
Sikufanya hiyo.
Tony, na wewe? Violet ametoka. Tony, wewe? Okay, Violet, what did you get? Tony? Hey, let's talk. Tony, what did you get? So I'll not do it. You guys will do it, and then we proceed from there. I'll do Roman 2 part of it.
We can do together.
No, if
Please.
you guys didn't try it, then it means that it doesn't matter to you. That's why
Maybe I tried, but I was stuck.
It does matter, but sometimes it is like, I don't know how to explain, but I have a grade 3 child. He need the project to be finished. I'm working on that, so I'm like, and we have to submit it tomorrow. That's why.
Time issue.
So my kid's future is also more important. I have to focus on
when you have time. Okay, so what is the first type, the first thing that you're supposed to do? I want you guys to guide me. You are told forward contract. Forward contract, that means that you need to calculate the amount in the future, not now. Now is current, but they're talking about forward. The forward contract, you're using 3 months forward rate. So in forward contract, you're using forward rate. We only have one forward rate. Sometimes it can be even 4, 2, or 3. They can tell you 6 months forward rate ni ngapi. This one umepewa 3 months only. You can be given 4. So if they ask you about forward contract and you only see the spot rate and forward rate, it means that you use the forward rate that is available there. So the rate that you're using is the one for 3 months. That is the first thing that you need to know. Because mnaelewana sahihi kwamba in the next 3 months, this is what the rate that we're going to use. And that is why when we were defining the forward contract, we say that it is a binding agreement where you need to agree on a specified amount now at a specified rate, specified time. Vitu kama hizo. So now that you know that you're going to use the forward rate, which is 1.325 to 1.34. The next question that you should ask yourself is what? You need to know, is it a receipt or payment? Is it a receipt or payment? Like this one, is it a receipt or payment? And will pay.
Payment.
And will pay or will receive. The client in question. Is he going to receive or make payment? It is payment, right? Paying in 3 months time. Sindio? Si ata receive pesa, atalipa. So after knowing what the client is going to do or the customer is going to do, the next question you ask yourself, what is the role of the bank? So tell me the role of the bank for payments. What is the role of the bank? That is something that we learned. The role of the bank is how to monitor the role of the bank. The role of the bank is to sell. Thank you. Because you want to make payment, but you don't have the yen. Yen is not our currency. You are a Kenyan. Anna is a Kenyan. You don't have yen. So you go to the bank to buy those yen so that you can send. So the bank will sell to you that yen. Tunaelewana, guys? Yes, the bank will sell to you the yen where you're going to buy the yen. So you're going to buy as the bank sells. Now the role of the bank is to sell. Once umeelewa hiyo, you are at the right position. So then you ask yourself, what is the time? So the way you can know the role of the bank is when you understand what the client is doing or the customer is doing. The customer is buying, so the bank is selling. What is the type of quotation? What type of quotation is it? Step by step, unaangalia na una reason. So there are two questions that you need to ask yourself. Number one, what is the role of the bank? Number two, what is the type of quotation?
Or type.
So Sunday is, Professor is saying it is direct. Another person? Vowel is direct. Okay, another person? Another person? Rachel, what is the nature of this quotation? Which type is it? Rachel is saying it is direct. Thank you. Sunday is also direct. So how do you know it is direct? Yes, help a colleague. Help a colleague. Can somebody explain? How do you know it is direct? What happens with direct?
Can I read what you wrote? Malim, can I read what you wrote?
Yeah, proceed.
Under direct quotation, we are given the amount of home currency needed to purchase 1 unit of foreign currency.
Sikupati vizuri. Under direct?
Under direct quotation, we are given the amount of home currency needed to purchase 1 unit of foreign currency.
Where? Did somebody get her?
Okay, under direct quotation,
Yeah.
we are given the amount of currency, the home currency needed to purchase 1 unit of foreign currency. So we are given
the first part on your left will be amount of home currency or local currency. Needed to purchase a unit of foreign. So a unit, 1 unit. So you're given 100, you require 1 Kenya shillings to get $1. So you are going to be given this one that can help you get this one. The one that comes first, that is the amount that is in terms of quantity. The one that is on the right is the one that is 1 unit per. So for each of these, it is the one that is being bought or sold. It is the commodity. So naambiwa 1 bag of unga is how much? So for every 100 shillings, you'll be able to purchase $1. So you're given the amount of home currency required to purchase $1. Now, expression that you're given there is 1.325 to 1.34 Kenyan shillings against Japanese yen. So these are the amount of Kenyan shillings that you require to buy 1 yen. Therefore, this one makes it direct quotation. Now that you know that it is direct quotation, why do you want to know the type of quotation? It will help you to know, where buying is and where selling is. So under direct, where is buying and where is selling? So Krista, which one is buying? Agnes, which one is buying? Which one is selling? Violet is saying that buying is one-off. So buying is this. And that means that selling is this. Yes, under direct, the bank buys at a low amount or low rate and sells high. So the high one is the sell, buy is the low. Now, that is the next step. So look at how we are moving. First, you need to know the role of the bank. Second, you need to know the type of quotation, because knowing the type of quotation will be able to guide you on the exchange. Which one is the buy and which one is sell? So if the bank is selling, then use the selling rate. If the bank was buying, use the buying rate to exchange. In some cases, you'll only be given one rate, which is the main rate. Apple sasa kuna sell or buy, just use it. Just check that one and use it. But when you're given range, you need to know which one is the selling and which one is the buying. Tuko pamoja? So for that matter, which rate are we using here? In this question?
1.34.
1.34, because the bank is going to sell 30,000 Japanese yen or 3,000 Japanese yen. So after knowing that, 1.34, you now come and say, for forward rate or forward contract, that is the one for after 3 months. You say that if 1 yen is equal to 1.34 Kenyan shillings in 3 months time, then how much will give you 3,000? How much Kenyan shillings do you require to get 3,000 yen? So you have 3,000 times 1.34 all over 1. So it is cross multiplication. This times this all over this. This times this all over this. What are you having there?
40,000.
40,000. 40,000. Just like that. In rising. Now you told someone last time. Just need to know the role of the bank, type of quotation, pick whether it is selling or buying. Use the correct rate. So it means that if this Ann Waiguru decides to wait and use forward rate, ameamua tu wacha tu nikae, after 3 months time, I'm going to use the forward rate to exchange and make payment. She will lose this amount of money. This is the amount that she will use to buy that motor vehicle in Kenya shillings. In Kenya shillings. Now let's now use what is now called money market. Roman 2, say Roman 2, money market. Money market. Roman 2, money market. Money market hedge or technique. It's money market hedge or technique. So in money market, you draw a table first. Then after drawing the table, then have here home. So then make this one foreign. Home and foreign. Or, sorry, you can just have here borrow and invest. Sorry, you can say borrow and then invest. Borrow and invest. Now read the question now. We are told that Mrs. Ann needs to make payment in 3 months' time. How much? 3 million Japanese yen. So she's a Kenyan still, right? Making payment to Japan. So Japan becomes foreign and Kenya becomes local. Are we together? Kenya becomes local, Japan becomes foreign. So what happens when you're making foreign payments? She's going to make payment in foreign land. Rule number 1 or rule number 2? Which rule is applicable? For foreign payment, which rule is applicable? Nimeandika tu a few minutes ago. Rule number? Rules in money market.
Borrow locally and invest in
2.
foreign country. You borrow locally and invest in foreign country.
In rule number 2. So says that borrow locally, invest in foreign currency. So therefore, it means that investment will be the foreign. So this one will be Japan. We are going to invest in foreign. This will be Japan. This will be Kenya. Because we are borrowing, this is where we borrow Kenya and invest in Japan. Sometimes you can find that it was Japan that is here and Kenya is here. But just make sure that you know how to mark them. We are going to borrow locally here in Kenya, invest in Japan. So how much are we going to invest here in Japan? How much are we going to invest in Japan? Can somebody tell me how much are you going to invest in Japan? Look at what you wrote.
3 million.
Huh?
3 million.
3 million. So we're going to invest an amount that will be equivalent to 3 million at maturity, because 3 million is the liability that we have that we need to pay in 3 months' time. So this one is the period. From here up to here is 3 months. So hapa ni now, sahi tuko hapa. We are going to invest, and in 3 months' time, we need to get amount that is equivalent to the payment that we shall make. It can be small amount now, but when you invest it, together with the interest that you're going to gain, it should be equivalent to 3 million that you're going to pay. So our main aim is to get 3 million after 3 months. 3 million Japanese yen. So that means that we need to ask ourselves, because in 3 months' time, we are going to pay here 3 million. Naenda kulipa gari. So we need that amount that if we invest, will give us 3 million today in 3 months' time. We are investing it here, it is going to give us 3 million after 3 months' time. Tunaelewana? This is the amount that we're going to pay in Japan. So sasa tuko Japan, ni kama tumesimama hapo. Tunajiuliza in 3 months' time inafaa tukirudi hapa tuko na 3 million Japanese yen. So that is after 3 months' time. So how much should we invest now to give us that amount? Ndio ikimature hiyo time itakuwa 3 million. We simply use it to pay our debts. We simply use it to pay our debts. So how much do we invest today? We now say the normal rate that you know. How do we normally go about investment? You remember this formula? That amount is equal to principal into 1 plus R. We need to know what amount right now, or what principal can we invest, principal right now can we invest to give us this amount in 3 months' time. So A will be 3 million. Hatujui the principal, but we know the amount that we need, that we get. So you say 3 million is the amount that we require in 3 months' time, should be equal to principal that we don't know into 1 plus, what is the rate we are investing? Investment rate umepewa ni ngapi in Japan? We are investing in Japan, na ndio maana examiner amekupea investment rate. So what is the investment rate?
3%.
So it is 3% per annum or per or quarterly. That is
Annum.
per annum for the whole year. Lakini sisi tunataka yetu imature after 3 months. So you divide by, or you multiply by a third, or what is it? Quarter or third? 3 over 12. So this one is times 3 all over 12. Only 3 months out of 12 months. Therefore, you come here and say 3 million is equal to principal, which you don't know, into 1 plus 0.03 times 3 all over 12. So this means that P is equal to what? P is equal to this amount, 3 million all over 1 plus 0.03 times 3 over 12. What are you getting as the value of, as the principal to be invested? What is the value of principal that we are investing?
29,77,667.
2977. So we need to invest a less amount, 2.9 million, that will mature in 3 months' time. But that principal, together with the interest that we shall get, will be equal to 3 million. So this is the amount that we invest in. So invest how much? 29,77,667. This is the amount that we need to invest. And we agreed that if you are investing in foreign, where do you borrow?
Locally.
Borrow locally. So this amount that you are investing today, itatupea, but it is in Japanese yen. So we need to know how much are we going to borrow here today that will be equivalent to this. Use the spot rate, because we are borrowing today, use the spot rate. Spot rate is the current rate. So spot rate is given us. What is the spot rate? When we need this money from the bank, what are we going to tell the bank? To sell to us or buy from us? We need this money from the bank. Tukirudi Kenya, tunaambia bank tunataka how much? 2.9 Japanese yen. The bank will sell to us or buy from us. Remember, you're borrowing in Kenya, and then you change it. So you're borrowing in Kenya shillings, amount that is equivalent to this. Then you change it to the bank. With the bank will give you this, you invest. So unarudi Kenya, unarudi Kenya, you borrow some amount that when you convert will be equivalent to this. Is the bank going to sell to us or buy from us? What is the role of the bank? Here, what will be the role of the bank here? Hauna hii pesa. So the bank will say to you, utampea Kenya shillings. You're going to borrow Kenya shillings from the local banks. Kuja nao kwa bank, unaambia bank, can you give me Japanese yen? Nataka kuenda nayo Japan, niende ni invest. So the bank will sell to you Japanese yen. Where utaborrow, when you are borrowing, you don't borrow in Japanese yen again. You borrow in Kenya shillings, then convert to make it Japanese yen. So you borrow in local, borrow locally in local currency, convert it so that you can go and invest it. Go for much. So that is a role of the bank. Bank sells at what rate? The bank will sell to you this amount at what rate? Look at the exchange rate. What are the selling price currently? The bank will sell at what rate?
1.33.
That is the spot rate. The spot rate is the one that the bank is selling at, because you don't have that money. So the bank will sell to you at 1.33. So therefore you say that if 1 Japanese yen is 1.33, then I need 2.9997, that amount, 667. That will be how much Kenyan shillings? So you multiply this times this. So we have 2.9 times 1.3. The amount is
3960297.
39.
60. 60297.767.
0.767. So 77.767. We can even round off to 8. So that we have 98. Right? So it means that now we need to come and borrow amount that is equivalent to this one. We tell Kenyan shillings, this is Kenyan shillings. So you come and tell the bank you are borrowing now amount that is equal to this, Ndio ukikuja exchange itakupea hii amount that you're going to invest. So we are borrowing 3.960298 today. This is Kenya shillings. That is Kenya shillings. We are borrowing today. If the bank is able to give me this amount today, I'll go and convert it. I'll go with it to the bank and tell the bank, I have 3.9 Kenya shillings. Can you sell to me some Japanese yen? Ataniambia, yes, that one is equivalent. According to this rate, the current rate, we shall sell to you at 1.3. That means that we're giving you 2.9. Nitasema iko sawa. Give me 2.9, and then niende nayo huko, I invest to give me 3 million. So I'm borrowed in Kenya. Kenya niko na deni, but huko nimeinvest. Sindio? So remember this borrowing, you also borrow amount that will mature in 3 months' time. Just the same way the investment will mature in 3 months' time, the borrowed amount you will have to pay in 3 months' time. So how much am I going to pay? This one is now the principal that you borrowed. So you say that A, that is amount, you don't know how much you're going to pay in 3 months' time in total. But this is the principal that you borrowed. So you borrowed this 96,298 into 1 plus R. Is now the principal, just like this formula. A is P into that. So P we know. This is the principal that we borrowed. How much are we to pay the total amount? Similarly, the rate is 3 months time. So we have to change R by 3. So we are going to have 3.960298 times 1 into 1 plus 3 all over 12 times the rate. What is the borrowing rate? Borrowing rate in Kenya?
14%.
13%.
15.
14.
14.
Thank you. So you're going to have 14%. So somebody tell me what it is. Calculate. So you're going to have 0.14 times P divided by 12 plus 1. So you're going to have here 3,960,298 times 1.035. So this is how much am I going to pay in 3 months? And because I borrowed, I have to pay within 3 months time.
1488,908.43.
40.
98 908.43.
Just let it be 908. So I was given an option. If I were to wait after 3 months time, I will have paid how much? 40/20. But I decided to go through money market. So how much will I now take from my pocket after 3 months time? Talipa how much in total? This is what I'm going to incur. This one, remember, it will cancel each other. After expiry of 3 months, the investment and the borrowing will cancel each other. So I'll not have anything to do with this side. I'll be dealing with Kenya loan, the loan that I have in Kenya. This is the only thing that nitabaki nikilipa. Sitalipa anything on the other side. After 3 months, I'll be paying this. So this is what I'm going to incur. So in summary, we have 2 options. The first option was forward market or forward contract, which will incur me 40/20. Nikingoja tu nitumie forward contract, Kenya shillings. The other option is now number 2, money market, which will incur me 40 98,908. They are very close. 40,98,908 and then 40,20. These are payments. Hii ni pesa inatoka. So kama pesa inatoka, the one that will make you pay less is the best option. But if it was a receipt, the one that will make you pay more is the best option. It is payment, so you need to pay less. How much will you advise Ann Waiguru to pay? Or which option can Ann Waiguru go with? Can she go with money market or forward?
Forward contract.
Forward contract. Why?
Because it is payment and we are paying less than the money market, which will be paying more by 78,908. Because we are paying 40.98 instead of 40.20.
Conclude down there and say that the best option for Ann Waiguru is to use forward contract. The best option for Ann Waiguru is to use forward contract, since the best option is to use forward contract, since she will pay less. Since she will pay less. Compared to money market. Assignment is here. Go and try. We shall do it in our next class about this. They like bringing this question, please. That is what you do in exam. So learn. Ikikuja, haikuja last sitting. Most likely it will come. Most likely it is coming. First paper question that you have, look at 2017. May 2017, that is assignment. Na nitaifanya kama mmeattempt. Without attempting, why should I do it? Kama mtaki ku attempt, why should I do it? So 2017, May 2017, question number 4B. May 2017, question number 4B. Nataka mpambane na hiyo. Any question? Rachel, ni ukweli. Kama nyinyi hamna time, mbona mimi nipele time? Mbona? Especially when I've done it like this. Now I expect you to go and attempt it on your own. Ndio tujue shida iko wapi. Haujaelewa wapi. Lakini kama unaweka tu, umenyamaza tu. Hata mimi.
Mwalimu, you know, I do attempt those questions you give us, but sometimes you have to understand the situation we are facing.
It's okay.
It is not that we don't want to attempt. It is for our own good also.
It's okay, don't worry. Go and attempt again. Thank you. Have a good night.
Good night to you too.
Wengine hataki kuniambia good night hapa. Gentlemen wametoka. Tony was alone na kaepa, ndio? Tony, wapi? Ayuko. Okay. Tony ayuko. Violet, good night. And Mercy. Kama nimewakazia sana. Sijawakazia sana hapa. Kama ingekuwa physical ningewakazia hapa online. Sawa. Okay. For those who are doing audit, we are starting right away. Audit, advanced audit.